support. The last thing I want to talk about before we just have conversation is what I'm calling public witness outside the congregation, right? This is the idea that not all young people are going to be a part of our community, is going to be part of our churches. They may never walk in the door of our building. And I think youth ministry is just as important for youth that aren't in our congregations. And I want to push us to think about youth ministry. It's where this book about advocacy sort of comes in here, about how we do this. This is just the reality in which we live today. This is a website that I track that's been run by someone who's teaching at Harvard. And I have to update this graphic every day. I think it actually is out of date even by now. We are at nearly 500 anti-LGBTQ bills that are in state legislatures that were introduced this year so far. This number changes constantly. The vast majority target LGBTQ youth. The vast majority target transgender youth. And you can see that some of them fail, most of them do not get enacted, but they do, but enough of them do to be able to cause harm. You can see a breakdown, kind of a rough breakdown of the nature of these bills. Medical care for transgender youth, states that are introducing bans on and making it a felony for a doctor to provide medical care for a transgender youth. In some cases, punishing parents for supporting their youth with proper medical care. And I want to say this too, all of the major medical and psychological associations say that transition-related care, gender-affirming care is life-saving and essential. And so these laws, these bills and these laws actually go against what has been considered the best standard practice. The other big one has been sports bans, keeping young people from participating in athletics. And, you know, I always think athletics is one of those things that people participate in so they can become better people. Excuse me. Becoming well-rounded, being with their peers, building skills, building out their resume for when they want to apply for college, and cutting that off from them, cuts them off from their peers and their friends, the way that gender-affirming care can cut them off from doctors and parents. A lot of ones related to schools, right? Like Don't Say Gay bills you might have heard of from Florida last year, or forced outing of students to their parents. Drag bans, transgender bathroom bans, other ones you can kind of see get introduced here too. This is every year. Last year, we were at over 350 bills. The year before, we were at over 250 bills. This has been increasing every single year. And this is the message that LGBT young people are hearing on a constant basis, whether they're living in a state that's introduced more than 50 of them, like Texas, or whether they're in a state that hasn't introduced any of them yet, or that these bills may not actually pass because of whatever the makeup of the legislature is. This is important for us as churches. It's important for us as youth ministry people to be paying attention to and putting our voices in the mix, because the assumption right now is that religious voices, Christian voices, are behind bills like this. And there's not been very loud or vocal opposition from a faithful perspective to bills like this. So how do we do that, right? We don't have to do this alone. I'm throwing up a list of resources. And I also want to say that way that we speak out, I should go back to this just to talk about how we can kind of, what can we do about it? A lot of these are, what I'm talking about here are state legislatures. Your faithful presence as a youth ministry person, as a representative, showing up at school board meetings, at city council meetings, in your local community, being vocal about the welcome that your church has, and that bills like this harm youth, maybe violate your religious values, or would force you to violate your religious values, is ways that you can show up. You can also go to your state legislature, but also local makes a lot of sense. Local can be really helpful and supportive. Writing op-eds, being vocal, being visible. You can preach about it and teach about it in your congregation, but please, please, please do it also wider in your community, because you are the ones that have influence in your community.